The night started like any other for Liam, the bartender at Halcyon Lounge. The soft hum of jazz flowed through the room, glasses clinked as regulars nursed their drinks, and conversations ebbed and flowed like the tides. Liam had become accustomed to his usual crowded mix of after-work regulars and occasional wanderers, but tonight, something was different. It was just after 9 p.m. when he walked in. The man looked ordinary enough at first glance, dressed in a weathered gray coat with a scarf loosely draped around his neck. But there was an intensity in his eyes, a quiet knowing, that immediately set him apart. He sat at the far end of the bar, choosing a stool that was just barely within the shadows. "What can I get you?" Liam asked, trying to sound casual. The man smiled faintly and replied, "Whiskey, neat." His voice was calm, deliberate, like every word was chosen with care. As Liam poured the drink, he felt the man's gaze settle on him, piercing but not hostile. As the night progressed, the man began to speak, not to Liam at first, but to the patrons scattered around the bar. He started with a woman named Claire, a nurse who'd been coming in every Friday after her shift. "You must be exhausted," the man said softly, his voice carrying just enough to draw her attention. "The patient in room 412 today. He reminded you of your father, didn't he?" Claire froze, her glass halfway to her lips. How do you know that?" she stammered, her face pale. The man only smiled and returned to his drink. Liam felt his stomach tighten, watching the interaction. "Hey, is everything all right over here?" he asked, glancing between Claire and the stranger. "Oh, just fine," the man replied, his tone unbothered. "But perhaps you should check on Simon over there. He's about to leave without paying." Liam blinked in confusion but turned his gaze toward Simon, a scruffy regular notorious for sneaking out after one too many drinks. Sure enough, Simon was edging toward the door, his coat half on. With a sigh, Liam intercepted him just in time, chalking it up to coincidence, or so he told himself. The night grew stranger from there. The man's words sliced through the room like sharp whispers, leaving a trail of unease in their wake. To a businessman hunched over his phone, he murmured, "The deal falls through tomorrow morning." "You already know why," the man snapped his head up, his face flushed with shock. "To a couple on their first date," he said, "you'll break her heart in 2 months. Do you really want to start this if you already know how it ends?" The woman looked mortified, her date squirming uncomfortably in his seat. Each revelation was personal, painfully so, and every person he spoke to was left grappling with emotions they weren't ready to confront. Liam's grip on the bar tightened as he tried to maintain some semblance of normalcy. He finally approached the stranger directly. "All right, what's your deal?" Liam demanded, his voice low but firm. "How do you know all this about my customers?" The man looked up at him with that same unnerving calm. He took a sip of his whiskey before answering. "Because I've lived this night before," he said simply. "And I'll live it again." Liam's heart skipped a beat. "What are you talking about?" "That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't have to," the man replied, setting his glass down. "Every night, I find myself here, watching the same faces, hearing the same words. I know what will happen because it already has. And it will again." Liam stared at him, searching for any sign of deception. There was none. The man's expression was neither smug nor pleading, just resigned, as though he were delivering a truth too vast to comprehend. "Then why are you here? Why tell people these things?" Liam asked, his voice barely above a whisper. The man's gaze softened. "Because maybe, just maybe, someone will make a different choice. Maybe one night, the story changes." As the man spoke, Liam felt the weight of his words sink in. The room seemed to hum with an invisible energy, as though reality itself were bending under the strain of an unwritten possibility. Before Liam could say another word, the man stood, leaving a crumpled bill on the bar. "Until tomorrow, Liam," he said with a faint smile. Liam watched him leave, his mind racing. When he glanced down, he noticed the bill was pristine to pristine, like it had just been minted. The date on it read 2025, but it was 2023. That night, after closing the bar, Liam sat alone with a glass of whiskey, staring at his reflection in the mirrored shelves behind the bar. He couldn't shake the feeling that the man's words were more than a cryptic warning. They were an invitation to do something, to change something, even if he didn't know what. The following night, as the clock inched closer to 9 p.m., Liam found himself scanning the door, waiting for the man to return. And deep down, he knew that when he did, the story would begin again. A bartender encounters a mysterious man who knows intimate secrets about every customer. When asked how he knows, the man reveals he has lived the same night over and over again, hoping that one day, someone might make a different choice.